So Netflix did it again. After their Emmy-winning Dahmer series shook true crime fans back in 2022, they've returned to the genre with Monster: The Ed Gein Story. And just like before, viewers are asking, how much of this actually happened? Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Spoiler alert, not all of it. While the real-life story of Ed Gein is already disturbing enough, the Netflix version takes plenty of creative liberties. Some of them make for great TV, others not so much. In this video, we're going to break down the real facts versus the fiction, clear up what Netflix exaggerated or outright invented, and explore the real mind of Ed Gein, one of America's most infamous criminals. How many people did Ed Gein actually kill? Let's start with the basics. Netflix's Monster paints Ed Gein as this prolific serial killer who may have inspired a generation of murderers. But in real life, Ed Gein only confessed to 2 murders, Bernice Worden in 1957 and Mary Hogan in 1954. Both are accurately portrayed in the show. But here's the thing, he never admitted to killing anyone else. Investigators found body parts from other women in his house, but Gein claimed those were taken from graves. Creepy, yes. Serial killer? Technically, no. So no, Ed Gein wasn't the next Ted Bundy or John Wayne Gacy. His crimes were horrifying, but they weren't high in number, just high in grotesque detail. Did Ed Gein help catch Ted Bundy? Now, this one is where the show really starts flexing its creative license. In episode 8, we see FBI agents John Douglas and Robert Ressler visiting Gein, apparently trying to solve the Ted Bundy case. There's even a nod to Mindhunter, with the actors resembling Jonathan Groff and Holt McCallany. It's a cool crossover for fans of Netflix true crime, but also completely fictional. Gein had nothing to do with the investigation into Ted Bundy. In fact, by the time Bundy was active, Gein had already been institutionalized for years. This entire episode is more of a psychological what-if than historical fact. A fun narrative twist, sure, but don't take it seriously. What about Adeline Watkins? Was she real? Yes. Adeline Watkins was a real person, but her portrayal in the show is wildly dramatized. In Monster, she's shown as Gein's close confidant, almost like a partner in crime, influencing his descent into madness. They discuss Ilsa Cook, human skin lampshades, and even crimes. In reality, their relationship was brief and uneventful. They were friendly for about 7 months, occasionally saw movies, and according to Watkins herself, she never even went inside his house. The romanticized, twisted partnership, pure fiction. Did Gein idolize Holocaust war criminal Ilsa Cook? So this part is tricky. Could Gein have heard about Ilsa Cook and her gruesome crimes? Sure, it's possible, but the idea that he was deeply inspired by her or that he viewed her as some kind of role model, there's no evidence for that. And that creepy radio conversation between Cook and Gein in the show, 100% fictional. It's eventually revealed as a schizophrenic episode, but still, it never happened, and there's no indication Gein had any obsession with her. Was there a romance between Gein and Bernice Worden? Netflix sure loves a twisted romance angle. In the series, Gein and Bernice are portrayed as having a brief romantic relationship, which turns tragic when he kills her. But in real life, not even close. Gein admitted he wanted to possess Worden, but not out of love, it was because she resembled his mother. Investigators found a receipt for antifreeze, which led them to Gein as a suspect after Worden went missing. There was no affair, no heartbreak, just obsession and a very dark motive. Did Ed Gein kill his brother Henry? Now, this one's been debated for years. In Monster, Ed is shown killing his brother Henry after a heated argument. The show has him staging a fire to cover it up, but the truth is less clear. Henry did die in a brush fire in 1944, and the official cause of death was asphyxiation. There were suspicious bruises on his head, but at the time, authorities ruled out foul play. After Gein's crimes came to light, some began to speculate whether he had a hand in his brother's death.
But Gein never confessed to killing Henry, and no charges were filed. So, was it murder? Maybe, but we just don't know for sure. Did he kill a nurse in the hospital? Nope, didn't happen. In one of the later episodes, we see Gein kill a nurse while in the mental hospital. Later, it's revealed to be another schizophrenic episode. This sequence was purely fictional. By all accounts, Ed Gein was a model patient during his time in Central State Hospital and later Mendota Mental Health Institute. He died there in 1984 of respiratory failure.
Frank Sr., fella!
No, they're just kids!
Did he kidnap babysitter Evelyn Hartley? This was one of the more intense episodes, showing Gein stalking and murdering teenage babysitter Evelyn Hartley. It's dramatic, but it's also fiction. Hartley did go missing in 1954 in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and Gein was briefly questioned because he had relatives in the area, but he denied involvement and authorities found no link. Her case remains unsolved, but Gein was officially cleared of suspicion. Was Gein really a babysitter himself? Strangely enough, yes. Despite his eccentric nature, young Ed Gein was known in his small town for doing odd jobs, including babysitting. Locals actually trusted him with their kids. The show makes him look like someone who creeps everyone out at the diner, but back then, people thought he was just a bit odd, not dangerous. Skull bowls, skin suits, and vulvas in a box. Were those real? Unfortunately, yes. Ed Gein did make household items out of human remains, including bowls from skulls, lampshades from skin, and yes, a box full of vulvas. This wasn't TV exaggeration. Investigators found these items in his home after the arrest. And yes, he did wear the skin of the women he exhumed. He created what he called a woman suit, supposedly trying to transform into his mother. It's one of the most disturbing parts of his story, and it's all true. Did Gein dig up his own mother's body? In the show, there's a scene implying that Gein may have exhumed his mother's corpse, but in real life, no. Augusta Gein was never among the exhumed. He did visit her grave often, and his obsession with her certainly shaped his crimes, but he left her resting place untouched. Did he kill tavern owner Mary Hogan? Yes. Mary Hogan was his first confirmed victim. She disappeared in 1954, and no one suspected Ed Gein at the time. 3 years later, when Gein was arrested for Bernice Worden's murder, police found Hogan's skull and skin in his house. He confessed, but was never formally tried for her death due to being declared insane. Hitchcock and Perkins. Was that real? In episode 3, Alfred Hitchcock is shown telling Anthony Perkins that he cast him in Psycho because he's like Ed Gein. While Psycho was definitely inspired by Gein, this conversation is fictional. There's no evidence Hitchcock said that to Perkins, though it's true that Perkins was dealing with personal struggles, including his closeted sexuality. But comparing that to Gein's crimes? That's a stretch the show took for drama's sake. Chainsaws, cannibalism, and extra murders. Let's rapid fire a few common questions. Did Gein use a chainsaw? No, that's from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was loosely inspired by Gein, but he never used one. Was he a cannibal? He denied it, and there's no evidence he ate human flesh. Did he kill more people? He was questioned about other disappearances, including 2 missing hunters, but was never linked to them and no evidence was found. Was there really an auction for Gein's belongings? Yes. After his arrest, some of Ed Gein's belongings were auctioned. His infamous 1949 Ford sedan, the car he used to transport bodies, was sold for $760 and became a traveling sideshow exhibit. Eventually, it was banned from being shown at fairs due to public outcry. Our nerdy thoughts. So, what's the verdict? Netflix's Monster, the Ed Gein Story, gets some of the facts right, especially the murders of Worden and Hogan and the grotesque aftermath. But it also takes major liberties, adding romance, extra victims, hallucinations, and Hollywood-style detective work that never actually happened. Ed Gein's real story doesn't need much dressing up. It's horrifying enough on its own. But as with many true crime adaptations, a good rule of thumb is don't believe everything you see on screen. If you learned something new today, hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns of true crime shows, movies, and the real stories behind them. Drop a comment with what shocked you most about the Ed Gein case and what series you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and stay curious but skeptical.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.